Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video review of the Vivitar DVR-410. This is an inexpensive digital point-and-shoot camcorder that clearly takes some inspiration from Cisco's Flip. With that being said, the price point is only at 30 bucks MRSP, and the street price is only $15, which makes this product extremely cheap. However, this is something that also doesn't deliver any HD quality. In fact, the video quality is mediocre to poor at best, but the price tag is still good if you're looking for something that's portable, maybe for emergency shots and for kids to play around with. The resolution is capped at 640 by 480 with 30 frames per second. You can also downgrade it to 320 by 240 to take up even less space. You have a 4x digital zoom and a 1.8-inch TFT LCD that can be rotated to the front on the very back. It supports XP Vista Mac and also includes a USB extension cable directly on the unit itself. We'll take a look at that in a moment. So in terms of the optical sensor resolution, you have a 1.3 megapixel sensor, so as you can expect, no HD quality can be found on this unit, even though it looks pretty high-end. The build quality of the unit is actually pretty strong. It's crafted out of a glossy piano black surface, which tracks quite a bit of fingerprints, unfortunately, but it also, again, belies its inexpensive price tag. On the side, you have a slider, which you can press down and then slide all the way up to reveal the USB port that you can simply connect onto your computer, plug and play. A downside here is that the rubber flap that's covering up this port is kind of loose, and you can see how this one does not fully cover up already. The front also features a lens in addition to the speaker, and on the side you have access to the SD card slot. It supports up to 16 gigabytes without any issues, and also a power on-off switch in addition to an AV output for connecting to a television. On the back, you have access to that 1.8-inch TFT screen, which has a matte finish, which makes it readable even in direct sunlight, which is good, and also a 5-way D-pad that's a little bit awkward to use just because the left and right keys don't have any click to them, but the top and down keys are very tactile, so they don't feel consistent. There's also a menu key and a set key, and that's basically it as far as controls are concerned. I can also flip the screen to the other side, as you can see here, for selfies and for self photographs, which is good. It's a discerning feature on this model that we really haven't seen before. In terms of the menu UI, it's pretty simple to master. You can see that the user experience is quite friendly. You have access to the camera resolution, whereas on the right-hand corner, you can see the amount of time that's left in terms of the space on the SD card. On the bottom left-hand corner, you have the auto balance, the exposure settings, and other details. And on the right-hand edge, you have access to the battery indication status. Now, the battery life on this camera is so-so. Standby mode got us about 1 month of usage before we had to replace the AAA batteries. It takes 3 of those behind the front cover. But otherwise, in continuous usage, it can last about 2 weeks before you need to replace them. So it's okay, but not the best that we've seen. We expected a little bit better for something that's non-HD quality for the video. Otherwise, again, pretty simple to use. In order to zoom in and out, it's a little bit counterintuitive. Instead of pressing up and down, you go left and right to zoom in and out, which is kind of strange. And you can also zoom in when recording a video, which is good. Now, the screen on here is not very high definition at all, and the color saturation is kind of poor. The good news is after we record something, the actual video footage looks better on a computer than it does on screen, which is good. There is no autofocus on here, so if I wanted to toggle between the photography mode, I can press on the M key there. That takes me into taking images. There is a stabilization function, which is okay, but there is no macro or micro settings, so if you get really close to something, it becomes kind of fuzzy. And the forte of this camera is landscape shots, but it's still not saying much. You can also change things like the self-timer and other details down below over here. To go into the settings, I can tap on this button over here. That changes things like the scenery. You actually get quite a few settings, surprisingly, for such a elementary camcorder. There's also the ability for you to change the resolution, to go through other things like the image quality, self-timer, anti-shake, white balance, the color effect, which you have a few filters built in, which is neat, multi-snapshots at the same time, image sharpness, there's also light exposure and ISO settings, language, and it just cycles back and forth. So you have quite a few things. The same thing goes with the actual video recording capabilities. You can change all of those settings, which is at least a neat feature that we don't tend to see on such a low-priced product. So going back over there, just to start the recording, I'm going to press on the center key. Extremely easy to use and very fast to react. I can press on the video mode key one more time to swap back into the video recording. It's actually going to go into the playback mode there. Press one more time. Now we're back into the VGA video recording. Tap over there, and our video recording has started. As far as microphone quality goes, it does a good job of picking up sound, and it's one of the better aspects of this camera, I would say, because the video quality is quite poor, and the frame rates, even though it's 30 frames per second, is still not as good as the Flip camera or other competitors we've seen. But then again, it's only $15, which is a lot less expensive. You can also flip it all the way to the front to record images or videos of yourself for blogs, and it works okay if you want to load them onto YouTube, although these days people do want HD videos also also on YouTube. So you're really going to only be sharing those with friends and family, I would say. In terms of color saturation, it's fairly accurate, although sometimes the colors get a little bit too dark, and it's not extremely accurate, although you can change and tweak those in the settings to your liking. As far as the field of view goes, it's pretty good. It's not too terrible. It's a little bit limited, but at the same time, you're not too constrained. Zooming out works nicely, and if you want to see more of the subject that you're shooting at. During operation, the camera does get a little bit hot in terms of the temperature on the sides where the SD card is stored, and I would suggest turning the camera off for maybe 5 minutes or so after you use it for an hour of continuous shooting, just to let it cool down and return to the normal room temperature. So we're going to give you a quick video clip here to show you the quality of the video. This is a brief video test of this Vivitar camera. As you saw from that demo, the video quality is nothing to write home about, but if you are stuck in an emergency, it will work. Low light situations are pretty bad, especially since there isn't a flash, but in brighter environments, it does okay, and it would be a good toy or maybe a gift for kids or the elderly to use because it's very simple to master. Overall, I would say that this particular camera does work, but at 15 bucks, I would recommend purchasing something a bit more expensive and offers better resolution, even though it might cost a bit more. But if you're looking for something that's ultra cheap, the Vivitar DVR-410 will deliver just that. To check out more details, be sure to read our full written review. This has been our video. Thank you for watching.